We'll open up the city council's work study session for Monday, February 10th, 2025, 6 p.m. City clerk, call the roll call.
Councilman Bell,
Present.
Councilman Twitchell, Councilman Giltner,
Present.
Councilman
Present.
Price,
Present.
Councilwoman Portis. Here. Councilman Gott.
Present.
Miller.
Here. There being a quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Councilman Bell, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the work study, without objections, the agenda will stand as is unless anyone has anything contrary to the difference. First item on the agenda is council of the whole. I'm going to start off with, I met with, Mr. Sherman last week, talking about, the property at 914 South Carolina Street, Louisiana, Missouri, just to kind of go through and show the timeline of events. A lot of misinformation kind of put out there on social media. And I'm sure I'll go through this and there'll be a Facebook fact check somewhere on it, so that's fine. Everything's transparent, what we try to do here at the city council, and I feel that's going to be best to kind of go through the timeline of events so the public can have an idea of how this council operates versus the misinformation that's put out there. So 2015, Mrs. Gertha Hodges passed away, leaving the property at 914 South Carolina Street vacant. The city began maintaining the property, including mowing grass, trimming the shrubs, and securing the structure to prevent unauthorized entry. In October of 2021, the property was declared a dangerous building following a public hearing by the Louisiana Building Commissioner, Kelly Henderson. The decision was based on findings and recommendations presented by then Building Inspector Jeff Windmiller. In 2022, the new city administration council took office, myself, in April of 2022. Demolition of the structure was postponed in hopes of finding individuals or groups interested in acquiring and restoring the property. Despite efforts, no parties had come forward. Summer of 2023, the city council was advised that no progress has been made in finding potential buyers or developers for the property. The property, and by the way, it's not the city's obligation to seek out these things, but in public interest, those actions did take place. Demolition in 2022 of the structure was postponed again in hopes of finding individuals or groups interested in acquiring and restoring the property. Despite efforts, no parties, again, didn't come forward. Summer of 2023, again, and I probably just repeated myself from reading through this again. The property was placed on the city's demolition list due to its ongoing state of disrepair and lack of interest in restoration. So no action was taken in 2023. Summer of 2024, the city council was again informed that the structure was scheduled for demolition. However, a date was set for August 9th of 2024. On August 8th, 2024, Mr. Sherman contacted myself stating that they had purchased the property at the Pike County tax sale. And he demanded and asked that the city halt its scheduled demolition of the property. Myself, unaware of the tax sale purchase, immediately contacted Mr. Sherman for further discussion. During our conversation, Sherman expressed intent to pay the city liens and taxes owed on the property. He requested the waiver of some liens, to which I replied and clarified that we can only, or I can only waive accrued interest penalties. Actual cost would have to require actual cost to the city. Waivers would have to be approved by the city council. August the 9th, the demolition was withdrawn following the communication with Mr. Sherman and intent to address the liens and, excuse me, let me rephrase that. So it was withdrawn, and however, intent to address the liens and restore, he has intent to address the liens and restore the property. I sent an email to Mr. Sherman providing the 2021 findings and conclusions of law and order that Kelly Henderson had documented and outlined what the property needed to meet compliance with city ordinances. The email requested that Mr. Sherman work with the building inspector, Charlie Smith, to establish a timeline for repairs and set an anticipated completion date for the refurbishment. Only an email with photos of RSMO 140.405 and a copy of the collector's deed was sent by the Shermans to the building inspector, Charlie Smith. Post August 2024, a social media campaign falsely accused the city and the mayor of proceeding with demolition despite the withdrawal of the demolition order. Attorney Daniel Fort, representing the Shermans, sent the city a 90-day redemption notice under RSMO 140.405. This notice required the city, as a lien holder, to redeem the property or risk losing the ability to collect on the liens that the city had on the property. September through November of 2024, the city council, with advice of the city's attorney, sought assurance from the Shermans that the liens would be paid. Due to the redemption process and the 90-day notice, if we did not redeem the property, we stood a chance of losing the liens outside of the taxes owed. The Shermans, through their attorney, stated they intended to pay the liens, but only after securing a quiet title following the redemption period. The lack of a guarantee that the city liens would be paid prompted the city council to act to protect its financial interest in the property. The city attorney reached out to Attorney Fort to propose a solution, such as placing the lien amounts in escrow until the quiet title process was complete. However, no agreement was reached, as Fort did not respond further. With the redemption period nearing expiration and no assurances provided, the city exercised its legal right to redeem the property to secure its interest. Mayor Carter informed Mr. Sherman via text that the property could still be acquired for renovation and that demolition was not currently planned. So the city now intends to quiet the title on the property to secure ownership. And the city intends to sell the property through a bid process with a minimum bid requirement to recover the city's cost. If no bids are received, the structure will be demolished and the vacant lot will be listed for sale through a realtor. The purpose of all this is to provide a timeline that details transparency to address the misinformation circulating on social media and clarifies the city's decisions to protect public funds while ensuring opportunities for the property restoration. So I wanted to share that and make that public. And if anyone wants a copy of this, can make a written request to the city clerk to obtain a copy of that. Thank you for indulging me in reading that, and we'll go ahead and continue on with city business. City update, city administrator.
Right, so I believe Riley had put the update I had for you guys in your guys' files. Just a quick update for streets and parks. We've made some traffic light repairs for the intersections at Third and South Carolina, as well as 24th in Georgia. We had to order some new bulbs, and now both traffic lights are fully operational. For the light post over by H-E-B, we're a new contactor, so now we got that light up and going. Had no more issues with that. Last week, over on Northeast Street, we discovered there was a single by the storm drain on the side of the road. Today we found out there was a 15-inch galvanized pipe that was originally placed inside an 18-inch and with no band, which caused both pipes to disconnect, caused a sinkhole effect. So today we poured concrete and kind of joined the two together, and we covered it back up with gravel and compacted it. So should be fixed for now. I believe Councilman Sutter will be going over it here in a little bit, but we have a ditches and sidewalk project that we will be working on here in the spring. And then we're currently getting an inventory of all the culvert pipes and culverts that we have the street shed for that. The recycle trailer from the county commissioners, the grant that they received, was dropped off on February 3rd. And will be picked up on February 13th. It's right along South 30th Street, right by, it's in the parking lot, this is street shed. And then I wanted to do like a little snow update. We're supposed to get snow tomorrow, snow Wednesday, and also saw snow for Saturday next Tuesday. So just showing you guys that we're ready to go. We have the necessary that we need to keep the streets safe and hopefully we don't get as much as they're talking about.
So Nick, let me stop you real quick before we go much further. On the recycle trailer, where are we at on signage to put out there for the public as far as what, what can be put in it and the hours and operate, well, as far as when it gets picked up and dropped off and so forth.
So I get the signage sent to us from the Pike County Economic Development Team.
Okay.
And then as far as what we can put inside the trailers, they have signs already on it that state what.
Okay.
So.
And then on the snow or plans, I haven't spoken to you today about this. I apologize, but we're going to try to burn through our salt pile
First, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to avoid using any chips on Georgia as much as we can. I think we have 10 to 11 ton of the salt, so.
Yeah, if we can use the salt on our emergency routes, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's the plan.
You put the salt with the chat too.
So, I don't think, Clinton, you might have helped me. We're salting the chips together.
We're not, no, but we could if we wanted to. It is a possibility.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case, but
The signage from the Pike County Economic, is that like pointing that there's a recycling bin down there?
no,
Is there any type of signage that would direct people that, hey, there's a recycling bin
No.
here?
so it's only for social media. That's the only
Oh, I
signage that they
see.
give us.
I see.
So I could work on actual signage that we have, like on the corner of South 30th in Georgia.
That's one of the problems that we had with our previous site. People were throwing stuff in there that wasn't recyclable and really the good thing about where the trailer's at now, we do have a camera view of the recycle bin. The bad thing is it's right by a public street, so people can drop off and throw any of their trash in there, but I think signage appropriate.
A quick parks update. Past week or so, our grounds department has really been cleaning up the cemetery, both Riverview and Memorial Gardens. Wiley was kind of giving me a walkthrough of all the fallen stones. You know, the stones that have fallen down from weather from the last time it was mowed, and they weren't able to get to it. But there's a lot of stones that have fallen over, so that's basically what they've been working on the past week or so, is picking them up and cleaning them up, making sure the cemetery looks nice. And then I had a quick grant update. I kind of wanted to get your guys' opinions on this. So Missouri State Parks and with DNR, they have a grant that's available. And it would allow us to put a walking trail at the riverfront. So the total project cost can go all the way up to $312,500. It is an 80-20 split. So funding we can apply for is $250,000. And that means we'd be paying $62,500. Pay that much. Project, you know, just depends on how much the project is. In the past, we've tried to apply for a project like this through Missouri Department of Conservation, but we've been unsuccessful with it. Along the trail would have local trees and planted. We'd have rest stops with tables and benches, and we also would have facts and information about different animals and fish in our area along the trail as well. It's really to promote the riverfront, get people to the riverfront, but also to raise awareness and educate about the species and all that we have here in Louisiana. So the deadline's March 3rd this year. I was just wanting to get your guys' opinions on if this is something that
Conservation would have to get contacted, wouldn't it, for that purpose?
yeah. So this is the money and all that could be used for having surveys done and getting a hold of the conservation and all that. So
Are you aware, is the match, can it be in-kind service?
yes. Okay.
I would suggest, you know, this council probably aware of the grants that we applied with the Department of Conservation in 22. And we also applied again in 23. There was dispute over ownership of the boat ramp and the parking lot there. And that's being worked out. So I would suggest maybe pulling from that as far as the ideas for cost estimates and what the project details would be. That may shorten up the grant application timeline, since it's due March 3rd.
Mhm.
I mean, I would suggest to have something like that and maybe have it ready for this council to review at our next regular meeting. If objections to that. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Enterprise update?
Put together some folders for everybody so you can kind of follow along with what I'm reading and talking about. And I included some pictures and things like that in it also. So our water treatment plant, we'll start from the beginning. So Miko Engineering, we ran some in-house tests to save money for potential $200,000 to $300,000 job. What it was is when we backwash our filters, it was dumping too much water into the trough. It was by design, but it was dropping too much water in there and then overflowing the floor. So we reconstructed the pipe and kind of did some in-house tests ourselves. to see if we could solve the issue, and we were able to successfully do it ourselves. I will say that we had Miko price that for us, and they said it would be between $200,000 to $300,000 to do that, to repipe that through the wall. And we were able to eliminate that and just take care of that issue without having to pay any more money. So I do want to make that, kind of known.
Got a question on this. So, Councilman Sutter, and Nick, met with Miko looking at the ADA project at the riverfront. And the Miko engineer made a statement to both of them that whenever backflow or backwash of the filters occurred, they made a statement, to both of them, that there's 7 foot of water went into that basement. Is there any accuracy to that?
No, it mainly just kind of splashed. It filled the trough up and then just built a little bit on the outside of the troughs all the way through the length of the basement. And the majority of it is where it went. It took a 45, went straight down into the bottom of the trough and then hit the bottom and splashed up. And that's mainly what it was. So what we did is we developed a pipe. And I'll be honest with you, what we did is we took some like flashing, put it on there because we didn't want to spend a bunch of money. We wanted to run trial error, test it ourselves to see if it worked. We took flashing, wrapped it around there, kind of stuck it down in the trough, and then taped it on for temporary just to see how it would do. And they run a backwash every 40 hours, and we've had no issues with that anymore. So now the goal is to remove that fixed piece of 8-inch pipe and construct us a more professional, longer lasting solution.
Well, we can do that probably in-house.
Yes, we could definitely do it in-house. So everybody's kind of aware of the THM issue we've been having at the water plant and throughout the distribution system. The chief operator has been busy running tests, making phone calls and coming up with a solution. I asked Missouri Rural Water to come down and assist us with a plan. DNR recommended that we reach out to them, and we have been in contact with them a lot. So we have a good working relationship, and we're members of that association. So it cost us nothing to have them come. So they came down. And he spent a lot of time with us, several days at the water plant, running tests, running just doing everything in-house to kind of show us what we can do. So kind of a basis operations or a plan that we have to hopefully solve this issue. And we're going to start with TOC testing, which is total organic carbon. If we can remove that and get it as low as we can, then we kind of eliminate our THM issues throughout the system. The chief operator has been working on this. He's been communicating with DNR. We're possibly going to alter the process a little bit within the plant. All per what DNR says we can and can't do. We're not going to do anything unless they say yes or no. Basin cleaning. So we cleaned our primary and secondary basins last spring. We're going to do it again this spring. Matter of fact, it will be coming up here pretty shortly, the last week of February. And we're going to be on a 6-month rotation with that also. We should clean them at a minimum once a year, but we're going to do it twice a year, spring and fall. Once the basins are done, we're going to conduct TOC testing again to see how the process impacted the plant. So basically, once we clean our primary, secondary basins out, we have points throughout the plant that we can take this test from to see what our levels are of our TOCs and things like that. So if we should be able to tell if that cleaning solved that issue and helped that issue. I do want to include that's not on here. Robert, which is the chief operator of the water plant, has been running tests, and as of right now, we have like a 60% TOC removal. So we're doing good, but we want to get it down just a little bit lower. We will be flushing hydrants in March to help with this THM process, and then THM testing will be sent to DNR late March. So they usually the second or third week of March. They'll send sample of bottles out, and then the chief operator will conduct all those tests and send all that stuff back to DNR.
Before you move forward, I gotta point this out. Maybe you can explain it. So how often were our basins cleaned prior?
At the plant?
Uh-huh.
When?
Yeah, that's a good question. I can't answer that, to be honest with you, the best. I know they did it last spring, and before then,
That's when we was repairing
the
scraper
yes.
systems.
So we did it then. We probably should have done it in fall last year, but we were catching up on the intake. We did all that cleaning, which we're going to do that again also. we're gonna try to get it on a twice a year rotation too. If we flush fire hydrants, we should be cleaning everything. The purpose of flushing hydrants is to clean our mains, so we might as well clean our water plant, our intake, everything.
Plus also knowing what
So
you're.
basically what you're saying, that the past administration had no maintenance schedule.
Yes, and if they did, we don't know where it's at. I can say that much. So. Actually, the next one, the third, number 3, we currently have 2 members taking water treatment licenses, and they're nearly halfway through the class, so they've learned a lot already, and they have been doing really well with it. The intake house, we're planning to paint the bottom half of all the graffiti at the riverfront, so you have this real nice building at the riverfront, but the bottom side between the top of the rock wall and the river is all spray painted and graffiti and got hearts and all that interesting stuff. I included some pictures in there so you can kind of see. Thought process is we will paint it and seal it and kind of preserve it anyway. Goes, you know, it might as well just do that.
It's a very nice picture.
It's in the folder, Councilman, got this folder. Your blue one.
It might be purple for him.
Oh,
All right.
We currently have in our budget to replace a truck at the water plant. I received a state bid for a 2025 Maverick. And we'll be discussing that more in the special council meeting. At the wastewater plant, I've gathered 4 estimates for the repair of the concrete walkways at the plant. They're as follows on your list of ACR concrete repair, Nelson Concrete and Construction, foundation recovery systems, woods basement, and concrete. And I've also included pictures. I know they're black and white. But if you look at it real close where it says wastewater concrete repair, that second picture, just where the sidewalk meets the wall, there's a white line. It's about a 4-inch gap. That's how much those walkways have settled. It's so bad that it's pulled the conduit and separated the conduit and all the wires are exposed. They've just dropped because they poured the concrete around the concrete. Now it's separated the conduit. It's broke every plastic box, electrical box attached to the basins. It has broken the ears and dropped the boxes off of the ears. So everything's just kind of, it's just everything's just hanging on there.
Yeah, but that's not what's supposed to be.
No, not at all. So with that being said, I'd like to add that to the special council meeting also to vote on that. I do have 4 estimates. I don't have them up here with me because I was afraid I'd have so much papers on here, they'd all be falling off. But if anybody wants to see those, I can be more than happy to
Are they
produce
gonna
those.
be able to go in and take new conduit, put it in?
So they're thinking when they start the lift process, it's where it broke is at all the couplings. They could be re-glue them, just slide everything back together as they're raising everything back up. The only thing that we would have to do is probably pull the covers off the electrical boxes and then re-tap con the boxes back to the basins.
That's good.
Also, we're planning to drain the basins at the wastewater plant and clean them. We're looking to do this as soon as possible. Ideally, this has to be done right after spring when the flows are down. If we get a lot of rain, we have a lot of flows down there, so once we get the spring seasons done, we plan on draining and cleaning.
so I'm gonna add to this a little bit more, so the council's aware. The concrete that's around the basins, it's sunk, right? There's one primary reason that it does sink, the system surcharges. Well, that means it overflows, all the wastewater overflows and goes out onto the ground. Right? And it causes it to settle. And so Clinton's saying, number 2, we're go drain the basins and clean them out. So my next obvious question is, when's the last time, and you do know the answer to this, when was the last time those basins were drained and cleaned out?
They've never been cleaned.
So this plant's been,
Built.
this plant's been in operation since 2011. So theoretically, and once you do a clear tube of it, but potentially we're at half capacity in our wastewater plant. And so it makes it pretty darn easy to surcharge when we have large amounts of water coming in here. So this is gonna be on a preventative maintenance cycle moving forward.
Yes, and I have our project preventive maintenance schedule for all enterprise facilities and equipment in general, so that way we have it in black and white. We have it on several things, but we just need a uniform system for everything. All right, so I'm moving on to distribution. Lead service inventory. I talked to Michael Sullivan with Schulte's today. He is waiting on, we have to give him just a list of all the customers within Louisiana. They are supposed to have that back to us by Friday for approval, and then within 2 weeks, they're gonna start doing internal surveys. So they're gonna do a mass mail of sending everything out, asking all the customers what their pipes look like, they wanna send pictures, things like that. If they're gonna do that, and then they're gonna do it again 2 weeks following that. And then they're gonna start the whole process. So if they can't get a hold of customers, they'll start going door to door and trying to get with them all. So that's kind of the timeline on that. To go along with water treatment plant, distribution plans on flushing hydrants. This is scheduled in March. We're gonna do this right before our THM testing. So I would like to think we'll drain the basins the last week of February, first week of March. And then we'll go right into flushing hydrants. That'll ensure that we pull everything bad out of the plant, get it through the whole system, our storage tanks, everything. We have one employee taking a class for his distribution license. He is doing that with the water treatment guys, and they're doing that in-house, so that saves us money on having to drive and things like that. We have several fire hydrants that we have to replace. We've been conducting a list of ones that we need to go ahead and get ordered. And there's about 4 of them in town that are not working at all. So we usually kind of secure them and to where it's known that they're not working. Meter replacement. We have roughly 450 to 500 water meters that need to be replaced. They've hit their life expectancy and therefore require us to change them. I've met with 2 other companies, Center and Neptune, and our existing Badger company, which is the most feasible for Enterprise to continue service with. I wanted to ensure that we were making the right choice, and that we didn't, that if there was another company that might be cheaper and could provide the same stuff. So I did go ahead and meet with them, and after I did all of that, conclusion that Badger is the best for us. I'm proposing, well, actually, I just want to add that to the special meeting too.
Okay.
Murray Street, ground storage tank. So if you look at the page right behind that, that's gonna be a September 29th, 2022 DNR report that they did on us. Those second 2 pictures, it says the grouting or caulking is missing between the tank and foundation. It should be replaced. And then they're talking about the ladder where a bottom portion of it's removed. We've already been told by DNR once that we need to get this fixed. So we bought a paint sprayer. We've got a guy that works for us that does immaculate grout work, and we're gonna do that ourselves to save money. So he's gonna start all the grout work around the bottom of the tank, and then once that's completed, then we will paint it and kind of rejuvenate it ourselves. I will tell you that we've had that price before. It's downstairs, and I don't remember the exact date, but it was $12,000. So I would expect that we can do that for maybe $2,000, and that's including an $800 paint sprayer that we can use for a lot of different things. So, and then we currently have in our budget for distribution to replace a truck. We kind of have a process behind that, and I can talk more about that in the council meeting. And then the water office kind of always gets left behind, so I want to just kind of touch base. We've asked them several times in there just how things are going and what their general thought from the community is, and they both seem to say that it's been a lot better. There's not a lot of backlash from the community. There's no yelling, there's nothing. It's just business, and we move on through. And so I just kind of wanted to touch base, but they've been doing really well down there. They've been going through files, cleaning, restructuring, and they also helped us with the rate study. So they produced a lot of paperwork when he needed to come up with all of that. And then the other thing that I have is our water rates. So going through this going through this rate study, it opened a lot of doors. It made us realize what we need, what we need to do, and kind of a plan, a 20-year plan on. I thought you were gonna say something. It kind of given us a 20-year plan on maintenance and repairs, replacing things within our facilities and our distribution system. If everybody has this paper, I think, right here. So I kind of want to touch base on this a little bit. In 2015,
Thank you, Clinton. Appreciate it.
In 2015, there was an ordinance number 10-2000, 2015 bill number 6934. June of 2015, residential commercial in town was $8.62 for zero usage and 0.0383 per cubic foot after. June 2015, residential out of town, the rate shall be the same as set out plus an additional 25%. Also, before I get too far ahead, I included all copies of those ordinances within your packet, so that way you can physically see it, but I kind of wanted to break it down so you didn't have to jump back and forth. It looks like, again, for our ordinances in 2015, ordinance number 19-2015, bill number 6943, July 1st, 2015, residential commercial minimum in town is $8.73 for zero usage and 0.038989 per cubic feet after. July 1st, 2015, residential commercial minimum out of town was $17.27 for zero usage and 0.038989 per cubic feet after this. After that. 2016, ordinance number 19-2015, bill number 6943, which was the same one that I read before, also stated June 1st, 2016, residential commercial minimum in town is $11.36 for zero usage and 0.038989 per cubic foot after. June 1st, 2016, residential commercial minimum out of town is $19.90 for zero usage and 0.038989 per cubic feet after that. I want to kind of let it be known, this next two ordinances I really want to focus on. 2019 ordinance number 05-2019, bill number 7084. May 1st, 2019, residential commercial minimum in town is $17.02 for zero usage and 0.03899 per cubic foot after. May 1st, 2019, residential commercial minimum out of town is $25.56 for zero usage and 0.03899 cubic feet after. And then 2022 ordinance number 08-2022, bill number 7169, July 1st, 2022, residential commercial minimum in town is $18.30 for zero usage and 0.0419142 per cubic feet after that. Number two, July 1st, 2022, residential commercial minimum out of town is $27.48 for zero usage and 0.0419142 per cubic foot after that. Our current rates, what we are billing the customers. We are currently charging a base rate of $9.61 for zero usage and 0.041941 cubic feet after for in-town residential and commercial. And then a base rate of $27.48 for zero usage and 0.0503294 for residential and commercial out of town. We should be charging in a minimum $18.30 per ordinance 08-2022. We've never changed it in the system.
How long have we been charging 9.61?
Well, we're not really sure because in 2016, the rate was $11.36. In 2015, it was $8.73. So I would assume between 2015 and 2016, it was set at $9.60, but we can't find the ordinance anywhere. So 2016 to 2025, we should have been charging, well, $11.36, $17.02, $18.30, but we've been charging $9.60, $9.61. So with that being said, I know that we have been working on a rate study and this kind of caught us not in a good spot. So I would say our best bet for this year, instead of adjusting the water rates, would be to adjust them to what they should have been in 2022 and not alter them based off this rate study. We're going to present the rate study next meeting, at the council meeting, but we're strictly going to touch on the wastewater portion of it, not the water.
So council, everyone sees the picture, what has happened. Okay, so when we get to this, this can be handled administratively without council because we've got adopted ordinances. I mean, the ordinances say this is what we charge. This was, under previous, city administrator and previous, enterprise director. I would recommend administratively, instead of giving 100% rate increase to our citizens, that we break this down and incrementally increase this to the approved rate that this council, not this council, but the city council had previously adopted. So in essence, maybe go in thirds, over the next 3 months, a third increase, a third increase, and a third increase, and communicate, and we have to communicate it well.
Why not do it like for 6 months instead of?
And that could be, it's really, it could happen that way. It's because even with the increase, we're still going to be below what the rate study is.
Right.
And not that we got to fast track it, but what this has done, this has really put us in a position to where this city historically, whether it's complacency or whatever, historically would only fix things that become broken. When they fixed it, they put a Band-Aid on it. And it don't really allow for a 20-year plan to be implemented to where we systematically replace water lines or systematically replace pumps or systematically do any type of preventative maintenance. So we're not even following our own ordinance. And someone over the years has failed to put it into our billing system accurately to reflect what the city ordinances have adopted. They've done the math on it, but as far as through the billing, it hasn't. With that being said, Clinton, talk about the cost study comparison that you've done with various communities with similar services.
So. And I have all that printed out. It was within my rate study packet downstairs. So in the city of Bowling Green, their surface water, they do deal with Bowling Green, the reservoir. But an average bill for 4,000 gallons was $160. Clarksville, I reached out to them. They sent me their information. Of course, they're not surface water, they're well water. And their treatment process is a little different than what ours would be, but they're about 160, 165 roughly. Pleasant Hill, we have 2 employees that work over there, and they both stated their bills, I think, were like 130 to 140 for 5,000 gallons. And I reached out to Hannibal. I don't remember what Hannibal was because Hannibal's is kind of confusing. They go through a tier process. With so many gallons you use, you go and get a reduced rate with your tier. And then I reached out to Canton, which is similar, and they're about $150 a month.
So
For 4,000 to 5,000 gallons. And for the city of Louisiana, I think a roughly 4,000 gallon bill is like 110.
Is that just water, is that include sewer?
That includes sewer and trash. So they're pretty well. Bowling Green's trash was $16.10, I think. They've got a pretty good layout on their Bowling Green to the city website. So they break it down. So if anybody wanted to see and compare themselves, it's there also. Before I forget, I did run a report on Hampton, which is our billing software today. If you look at the top one on there, it says residential in town 580 R00. If you look at the billing steps portion, it's 4.194120. So that's per 100, not per. I wanted to make sure that's clear so you don't get that. And then the base step is $9.61. That's what we're currently charging. That's supposed to be $18.30. And if anybody has a calculator, they can do the math on 1830.
What's the average person using for water? 4,000 to 5,000 gallons a month?
Yeah, so we run through cubic feet. So I think the typical one like 400 cubic feet times that 7.48, and that's how many gallons they would be using. Yeah, I don't know without calculator, because I'm not good.
Well, council, we're not gonna jump real quick. I want council input. As far as, we gotta get to our base rate that we adopted in 2022.
Is 2022 the last time we had it?
Yeah,
Does anybody got?
Yep.
Yep.
Last time we looked at.
our city ordinances allows us to do, not the base rate, but the flow rate. Our city ordinances allows us to do, an annual cost of living increase, but we still have to adopt it by ordinance, no matter what. Going through and doing the rate study, Clinton and rural water and our water office had discovered that, I'm not gonna give you excuses. I mean, I can give you a ton of excuses why this happened, but it's not pertinent. We're in the situation we're in right now, regardless of how we got there. It's just, and who we blame it on. It's not gonna make any difference. We have to support our system and manage it right and do preventative things and make capital improvements. Otherwise, we're mismanaging it and we shouldn't even own it. We should sell it to Alliance or American. We can make $4.5 million just like that, but then I guarantee you, your rates are gonna go up $50 a month right off the bat.
So I inquired about that with Missouri Rural Water Association. I asked him, just out of curiosity, what it would be like if we sold our water system. It's not that I want to, by no means do I want to. I want to keep it with us, because ultimately the council has a say if we do that. If we sell it, we have no say. And so American Water, which is one of your biggest organizations that deals with water systems like what we have, they have several big systems like Branson, Jeff City, Springfield, things like that. When a water plant, for instance, in Springfield has to have a major infrastructure upgrade, guess who pays for that? We do. They split the cost of that between every entity of their systems, and we have no say. That's what we have to pay. When they call and they say, look, Branson, Springfield, and somebody else needs major infrastructure updates, we're raising rates. That's all we have. As of right now, the council has a say. The city has a say. We don't have that. We do something like that.
I think it's important if we're going to do this, and we have to do it, okay? If there's some sort of, because I think this is like how you're gonna have to sell it to people. That there's going to be, not necessarily guaranteed, but at least a specific program of how we're gonna start doing preventative maintenance and all these other things that seem to have fallen through the cracks over the years because people basically didn't give a damn. And I think that's how you're gonna have to do it. Because if you go and jack up, you're talking, a $9 increase per month on your water bill. I mean, a lot of people are gonna, you think they're beating on the doors here now.
Right.
So with that being said, I want to say something, and just to kind of touch base, and like I said, we're not going to work on it, but our infrastructure on a 20-year replacement plan is would almost require us to raise rates $20 on minimum charges per person a month, just for water. That does not include sewer. That's how much updates, replacements, repairs. So we're trying to do the best we can. I don't want to say this is what it's got to be to survive. But one thing that Rural Water said to me that stuck the most is the only time a municipality would sell their system is if there's two things. One is they can't afford it, or two, they can't manage it. And he says that we can do both. We just have to.
No, I'm not suggesting we stop.
No, but I'm just saying in general, and I kind of got into a sidetrack a little bit because I was emphasizing on what our rates would need to be in order for us to be comfortable.
And
But we're also keeping jobs here.
Right.
And the thing about this, Clinton probably won't talk about it, but Gary, the main focal for rural water is he is impressed because the city's been a member of the association for numerous years. And he's had previous relationships with previous employees. But he said, speaking of Clinton and our team and the water office and everything else, we're on our game now, because whereas none of this was, they we've never asked them for any type of assistance and any type of benchmark of where we are at. Well, we have asked where we are at, and we know where we need to be just to sustain our system. So
Well, I'm
kudos,
being critical.
kudos.
I think you guys are doing a great job, given what you had to start with. But I just think that needs to be laid out to the public. Okay, we're gonna have to increase the rates. This is where this money is gonna go.
I think that's the whole intent of the 20-year plan. And we may not be able to start the 20-year plan this year. It may have to be next year, but
Potentially might turn into a 25-year plan.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
any questions for Clinton?
Oh, good job.
Good job.
Good job. So with that being said, it's our intention, we're gonna have 3 ring binders for each council member for all of our minute meetings and stuff, and we'll hole punch everything. We want y'all to have everything we got. And if you want to take it with you, if you want to leave it here on your desk, you'll have it, so. All right, next item, street sidewalk distribution, Councilman Sutter.
Good. Closed, spring, early summer street sidewalk projects. We got a list of them here. Good. 2415 North Carolina Street, we need to clean out the ditch across the street. South 18th Street, roadways giving way to the underground trench. We need to evaluate that and possibly put it under enterprise. 914 South Carolina Street, we need to clean out that ditch and install a new properly sized culvert pipe and cover. 100 block of South 15th Street, we need to clean out the ditch and install a properly sized culvert pipe and cover there. 3300 block of Georgia Street on the north side, need to clear out the storm drainage ditches over there. 805 Georgia Street, contact the owners and get permission to remove and replace the sidewalks. We'll have a contractor assist with pouring and finishing the sidewalks. 903, 909, 915, and 917 Georgia Street. Same thing, contact the owners, get permission to remove and replace the sidewalks. Have a contractor assist with that. 1201, 1207, 1211 Georgia Street, same thing there. 1301, 1307, 1311 Georgia Street, same thing there. Permission to remove and replace the sidewalks. 1403 and 1405 Georgia Street, same thing there. 1505, 1509, 1513 Georgia Street, same thing. And down the riverfront where we've done the work down there on the concrete right below the wall. We got the engineers working up with our draft plans for ADA compliant sidewalk ramp to go down to that. And then the parking area where the boats are, from the boat ramp down to where the pavement ends. We got 2 contractors getting bids for that to resurface it and get that fixed up. That's all I've got.
Any questions on the spring, early summer projects for streets and sidewalks? Okay. Infrastructure grounds, Councilman Bell.
We have a Lincoln Park proposal project. We're going to finish grading and leveling the parking lot, extending the street and overlay. We're going to extend, I believe it's Allen Street. We're going to contact the county, which we haven't done yet, for a bridge, a new bridge across the creek.
Mhm.
Also. We're going to replace the above ground, the water line that should have been underground 30, 40 years ago. That's attached to the old bridge. And bore under the creek and extend the street. And also new playground equipment and restrooms, and replace the electric in the pavilion.
Any questions on the Lincoln Park, proposed project by Councilman Bell? This probably be phased in, and you know, the first thing is probably leveling the lot. And then getting the infrastructure as far as the water line, extending it out, getting it under the creek and extending it out. If you notice on the map, you see the two hydrants, you know, we'll be placing two new hydrants. And extending the street all the way to that last hydrant, which is city property, which will lead to further development of that property if interested parties so move to do that. You had another item, Councilman Bell, on the agenda, on the regular agenda, number V, or the letter V, 5.
Yes, and we've got the citizens on Iowa Street. Their street is in disarray. And there's gonna be consideration for an overlay on Iowa Street.
Okay. So, our projects for this coming year, as far as, overlays for streets, I know Iowa is should be a priority, and then, Haley is another priority that's been talked about. We just have to line it up with our budget to see if we can get that done. Public, Safety, Police Hiring Committee.
We had a meeting this afternoon. We interviewed, 2 candidates for, police academy. And, we're interviewing 2 more tomorrow evening. And, hopefully that, we will have candidates to send to the academy.
Ready?
That's all.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. Ordinance Committee, Councilman Twitchell's not here, but discuss ordinance for consolidating parcels per the public hearing. It sounds like we're going to take action at our next meeting as far as pushing that another direction for further review. So that's on hold. Economic development. Okay. Tourism, just let the council know, since Councilman Twitchell's not here, the 4th of July event is upcoming, fundraising through the LMC and also through the tourism. They've really taken a proactive approach, and they are going to present a proposal to the city as far as doing a MOMO event July the 5th. So turn the July 4th and 5th at the riverfront into an event. So more to come from them. Also, Councilman Twitchell has brought it up previously. Louisiana City welcome signs. We do have the funding to do those signs, council. So we'll be looking forward to some design work and some cost estimates to do that. Be utilizing one of our CDs for doing that and for doing that ADA ramp at the riverfront. So that's the intent there for our budget.
Tim, could they also include, those big signs that we have coming into town that were put up by chamber or whoever, there's no lighting on those.
Mhm.
If there was some lighting, because at night when you come through there, you can see the signs below it reflecting your headlights, but you can't see those signs at all.
Yep. I think Councilman Twitchell, one of the things that he presented via email to the rest of the council, he's wanting not digital, he's wanting to do some sort of signage to where it's welcome to Louisiana, of course, that's permanent, but some sort of maybe additional signage that can be updated, you know, whether lettering stuff, but, and I believe, I think the lighting it was the intent for doing that.
Yeah,
So,
like the solar power.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
that, though, and just the big black, nothing there.
right.
Good.
All right, Enterprise, I know Councilman Bell, I know we just kind of talked about the water rate and the user rate already.
And Clinton also mentioned the vehicle replacement. That's it's budgeted in the budget.
Okay,
And also we have got to take into consideration for amending our off hours for the leche.
yeah, so, Councilman Price had mentioned, and Clinton, you're still here, you might be able to speak to it as well, but I do know, the vendors who haul the leachate in, this is kind of ironic that we're talking about this because we've already talked about the wastewater, I mean, the basins being half full, maybe, or more, and surcharge and the stuff rolling over. This council's primary concern, my primary concern, based off the information that we had, was that we was killing our wastewater plant by leachate water. And come to find out, well, we was killing our plant ourselves, right? So, the vendors are asking, for, off hours use of, dropping off the leachate water, so, and amending that to, does anyone know the hours that they wanted to amend it?
Just some Saturday, Sunday dumps, and it's not gonna be all day Saturday, Sunday.
Right,
It would be a couple loads maybe.
so they'd still be required to provide testing samples and dropping them off, are they dropping them off at our sites? Okay.
He
And they're-
samples every load.
every load. The reason there's a new vendor, RNG Vision, is wanting to start doing this. We've already signed the contracts and everything to do it, but they really haven't started yet. And what, I believe they're using the same vendor, and that's probably why the vendor's requesting, you know, additional hours, because they're hauling more than, just the one outfit, through Meridian. So, hopefully we can have a proposed amendment for consideration at our next regular council meeting.
Is it gonna be considerably more loads per week or?
No, probably that might be something that we can reach out, maybe Clinton or, well, that's, I mean, we never had the leachate surcharge our plant. But definitely once the plant's cleaned out and we're back to full capacity, it probably wouldn't be an issue. I'll leave that to Clinton and the wastewater plant operator to determine.
I will say that RNG, they have dumped a few loads already. And, we have the wastewater operator has a few concerns. We're monitoring them very heavily right now. With their samples and things like that. We just want to ensure they're not gonna do anything. They did provide test results and everything, but one of the numbers are just a little higher than we would like. So,
Okay.
I just kind of want to let that be known. That
Okay.
they might, if they can't get it down, they probably won't be able to dump with us until it's resolved.
And that's regardless of off-duty hours or not.
Yeah, but I do want that to be, let it be known though, because they have called, and if somebody sees another vehicle, that's what it is.
Okay. All right, Councilman Gott,
Approved, the new Citizen of the Year nominations are open,
okay,
so
So if anyone from the public or the council has
Anything.
anybody they wanted to nominate for Citizen of the Year from the city, I think last year we did Sarah, I believe, right? And maybe we'll have something ready by our next council meeting. Okay. Animal control? Councilman Porter?
Anything?
Yeah, okay. Councilman Price. So I am aware and of over off here, Hillview, there's a dangerous tree that our code enforcement officers sent a certified letter to GE Capital, the property owners on that. And then also the tree over off of I forget, it's up off the E Street. I do know that Ameren went and topped it out quite a little bit. Neighbor was concerned. And also I provided this just for your all's review. This is a list that we gave the code enforcement and building inspector for status updates and request to see where we are at for further information. This is the updated one, chief. If you want this copy, you can have this copy. All right. Any other business? I entertain a motion to adjourn and we'll take. Second, any discussion? All in favor, say yes. Opposed, like sign. We will have, let's do just like a 2 to 3 minute recess and we'll jump into our special session.
Councilman Phelps. Councilman Pickles. Councilman Gilman.
Present.
Councilman Phillips.
Present.
Councilman Price.
Present.
Councilwoman Portis. Councilman Gott.
Here.
Councilman Sudar.
Here.
All right, there being a quorum. Council, I'd like to add 3 items to the agenda. Purchase of water meters, concrete repairs, wastewater plant, and verbiage from our accounting firm request. If there's no objections, we'll add to the agenda.
So moved.
Okay, moved,
Second.
seconded, any discussion, all in favor?
Yes.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. All right, consideration of state bid vehicle purchase.
So I reached out to Joe Mockins Ford in Columbia for state bid, for state bid pricing on, 2025 Ford Mavericks. The cost for each one is 30,000, like roughly 30,609.50. And that would be for the water plant, which we had that budgeted, and for, distribution, which we were gonna transition a truck around a little bit, because we have a brand new truck that is, it's a heavy duty truck. It would better suit them out there, which is almost, it's newer, so kind of rotate our fleet around a little bit, but.
Yeah, so council, the truck that Clinton's been driving, the blue one, it's a 22, right? Or 9, is that 22? We bought that for 32,000 back when we got it. And that same truck today is worth about 49,000. So it makes sense to stop using it in the purpose it's in now and put it back into distribution for them to use it and replace this with a Maverick, and then replace the 2005 truck that the water treatment plant has currently. And did I state it right? Okay. Any questions for Clinton, or? It's,
It's in the budget.
Yeah. in fact, by doing it this way, we're saving approximately how much?
About $25,000. An F-250 is 49,000, so not quite 25, but 20,000 then. And then these are 30,000, so 49, 59, 69, 79,000. And the combination of them together is like 61,000.
Yeah, so we had 20,000 budgeted for the water treatment plant for vehicle replacement.
50,
What did I say?
20.
I'm sorry, 50,000, 60,000 for distribution. So 110,000 we're going to spend.
60.
Yeah, so we're saving,
Right, 50.
Chunk of change.
yeah, by doing it that way. Any questions? So the vehicles that we are replacing, out there at the distribution is heavily used and utilized. The vehicle at the water treatment plant is not used as quite as much. That's why it's a 2005, but it's on its last legs as far as, it's got over 140 something thousand miles on it, and the primary purpose of it is driving to and from our lab test facilities. And it's a gas hog, and the Maverick, it's gonna be quite a bit savings just on fuel, but. Anyone got any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
It's first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor state yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Purchase of water meters.
So we have roughly 450 to 500, just kind of depends on what the day out, the weather looks like outside. I know that sounds funny, but if when the batteries are low, they don't send signals out as good as they can, or they're supposed to, and things like that. The life expectancy on those meters is between 12 and 15, and most of them that we're getting ready, want to replace is between 18 and 20. The batteries are completely dying out on them, and every time we read meters, we're having to send the guys out and spend 3 days rereading meters. On top of the day they spent reading them initially. So we had budgeted $97,615.75. The meters to replace them are $201.25. So I'm proposing that we buy 485 for a total of $97,606.25. And that 485 will get everything that we've got in the system that is failing replaced. And then next budget cycle, we can budget to replace the remainder of them. About 4 years ago, we did the north side of 54, so they've got about 4 years of age on them. And that was why it was just more feasible for us to stay with our current provider, because we've already replaced so much with them. And we just need to get these other ones done, and then we'll be back in good standing.
So yeah, council, we did our mid-year budget adjustments and allocated the funding to do this. So now just entertain a motion to go ahead and make the purchase.
How much were they?
201.25.
Make the motion to purchase.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Oppose, like sign. Motion carries. Concrete repairs at the wastewater plant.
We went out, we seeked 4 different bids. One was through ACR Concrete Repair, and the other was Nelson Concrete and Construction. The third one was Foundation Recovery Systems, and the fourth one was Woods Basement and Concrete. And you can see all the prices. ACR was $18,846.18. Nelson was $21,800. Foundation Recovery System was $16,131.65, and then Woods Basement was $34,406. And I'm proposing that we go with the Foundation Recovery System for $16,131.65. They also put in a really good packet of everything that they plan on doing, and pictures, and mapped it out, laid it out, and kind of went over a really good detailed thought of how the process will work.
Council, you heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we repair the second walkways at the plant with Foundation Recovery Systems. Do I need to hold the amount?
Did you get the amount?
For the amount of $16,131.55.
Second, Councilman Gott?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Council, I do have this, and I don't have a copy for you, but I got a copy machine right there if you want a copy. This is from Hood and Associates. These are the accountants doing our audit review this year. It's a request for additional service fees. They gave an estimate range of additional $2,500 to $5,000. We requested a detailed reason for the adjustment. And they emailed this past year. So review and investigate discrepancies between the reconciled registered cash balance and the detailed general ledger account balance for certain bank accounts. Setting up a working trial balance to include individual department amounts for revenues and expenditures due to the limitations of accounting software. Summarize monthly activity of UMB trust accounts and prepare journal entries to record totals year-to-date activity, including funds transferred from excess in 2000 COPS project fund to the 2021 COPS lease revenue account, which were utilized to subsidize the debt service program. Analyze various balance sheet asset and liability general ledger account activity to determine offsetting, adjusting journal entries required to zero the account balances. So with all that being said, what it means is they're wanting to make sure that all the entries are there to zero it out. The biggest thing with the 2018, 2020, 21 COPS is in 2018, we had approximately $150,000 left over that we did not spend. And it's sitting there earning interest, but we did not have a project that we could tie that to use it. So we used those excess funds to pay down the 2021 COPS. So what they're wanting to do is make sure the books make sense for doing that on their part. So if anyone wants a copy of this, I'll be more than happy to, we'll get you a copy of it. But they're making that request, and up to an additional $5,000 just to, because of that added work that they came up with.
I think anything we need to do is get into compliance.
Yep. And it may not be that amount, but that's their estimation, 2,500 to 5,000. But if, I'll need the councils to authorize me signing this and returning it to them so they can finish out our audit. So,
Need a motion?
yep,
I'll move.
the first and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Entertain a motion to go into closed session per RSMO 610.021.
So moved.
so moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? It's to allow the council members and the city clerk. Call the roll, please.
Councilman Duff,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell, Councilman Hickman,
Right, yeah.
Councilman Phillips,
Yes.
Councilman Price,
Yes.
Councilwoman Portis, Councilman Gott,
Yes.
Councilman Sutter.
Yes.
All right, we will be in closed session now. And clear the room. We're going to maintain it here.